'Twas the night before Christmas, when all through the house not a creature was stirring, not even a mouse.
The stockings were hung by the chimney with care, in hopes that St. Nicholas soon would be there. The children were nestled all snug in their beds, while visions of sugar plums danced in their heads. And Mamma in her kerchief and I in my cap had just settled our brains for a long winter's nap.
When out on the lawn there arose such a clatter, I sprang from the bed to see what was the matter. Away to the window I flew like a flash, tore open the shutters and threw up the sash.
The moon on the breast of the new-fallen snow gave the lustre of midday to the objects below, when what to my wondering eyes should appear but a miniature sleigh and 8 tiny reindeer.
With a little old driver so lively and quick, I knew in a moment it must be St. Nick. More rapid than eagles his coursers they came, and he whistled and shouted and called them by name.
Now Dasher, now Dancer, now Prancer and Vixen,
On Comet, on Cupid, on Donner and Blitzen,
to the top of the porch, to the top of the wall.
now dash away, dash away all.
As dry leaves that before the wild hurricane fly, when they meet with an obstacle, mount to the sky. So up to the housetops the coursers they flew, with a sleigh full of toys and St. Nicholas too.
And then, in a twinkling, I heard on the roof the prancing and pawing of each little hoof, and as I drew my head and was turning around, down the chimney St. Nicholas came with a bound.
He was dressed all in fur from his head to his foot, and his clothing was tarnished with ashes and soot, and a bundle of toys he had flung on his back, and he looked like a peddler just opening his pack.
His eyes, how they twinkled, his dimples, how merry, his cheeks were like roses, his nose like a cherry, his droll little mouth was drawn up like a bow, and the beard of his chin was as white as the snow.
The stump of a pipe he held tight in his teeth, and the smoke it encircled his head like a wreath. He had a broad face and a little round belly, that shook when he laughed, like a bowl full of jelly.
He was chubby and plump, a right jolly old elf, and I laughed when I saw him in spite of myself. A wink of his eye and a twist of his head soon gave me to know I had nothing to dread.
He spoke not a word, but went straight to his work, and he filled all the stockings, then turned with a jerk, and laying his finger side on his nose, and giving a nod up the chimney he rose. He sprang to his sleigh, till the team gave a whistle, and away they all flew like the down of a thistle.
But I heard him exclaim, ere he drove out of sight, "Happy Christmas to all!"
And to all a good night.
happy Christmas. We have Oliver and Ruby from Year 7 reading today for you from How the Grinch Stole Christmas by Dr. Seuss. We join the action where the Grinch, miserable Grinch who hates Christmas, has stolen almost everything from the Who's in Whoville, and we're going to find out how he changes towards the end of the story.
Then the last thing he took was the log for their fire. Then he went up the chimney himself, the old liar. On their walls he left nothing but hooks and some wire, and the one speck of food that left in the house was a crumb that was even too small for a mouse.
Then he did the same thing to the others whose houses, leaving crumbs much too small for the other whose mouses.
It was dawn, all the Who's still abed, all the Who's still a snooze, when he packed up his sled. Packed it up with their presents, the ribbons, the wrappings, the tags and the tinsel, the trimmings and the trappings.
3,000 feet up the side of Mount Crumpet, he rode to the tip top to dump it. Pooh, pooh, to the Who's, he was Grinchishly humming. They are finding out that no Christmas is coming. They're just waking up. I know what they'll just do. Their mouths will hang open for a minute or two. The all who's down in Whoville will all cry, boo-hoo.
That's a noise, grinned the Grinch, that I simply must hear. So he paused, and the Grinch put a hand up to his ear. And he did hear a sound rising over the snow. It started in low, then it started to grow.
But the sound wasn't sad. Why, this sounded so merry. It couldn't be so, but it was so merry, very. He stared down at Whoville. The Grinch popped his eyes. Then he shook. What he saw was a shocking surprise.
Every Who down in Whoville, the tall and the small, was singing, without any presents at all. He hadn't stopped Christmas from coming. It came, somehow or another. It came just the same.
And the Grinch, with his Grinch face ice cold feet in the snow, so puzzling and puzzling. How could it be so? It came without ribbons. It came without tags. It came without packages, boxes or bags. And he puzzled 3 hours till his puzzler was sore. Then the Grinch saw something he hadn't seen before. Maybe Christmas, he thought, doesn't come from a store. Maybe Christmas, perhaps, means a little bit more.
And what happened then? Well, in Whoville they say that the Grinch's small heart grew 3 sizes that day. And the minute his heart didn't feel quite so tight, he whizzed with his load through the bright morning light. And he brought back the toys and the food for the feast, and he
He, himself, the Grinch carved the roast beast.